Chef Maxwell's Kitchen is brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau, because agriculture matters.
Hi, and welcome to Chef Maxwell's Kitchen. We're here at the Farm Bureau, where once again we get a chance to play with Virginia foods. Virginia's got great products from all over the state. Look for the Virginia Grown label in your grocery store. We're playing with apples today. It's a great time of year for that. It works well with any kind of meal. It's going to be an apple and oatmeal scone. And I'm going to take my dry ingredients. I got 2 cups of flour here. I'm going to add a little bit of allspice, a little bit of cinnamon. All right, I'm going to add some baking powder, some baking soda, and some salt. All right, now, we want to mix all of our dry ingredients before we add any of the wet ingredients, because we're using baking powder and baking soda, and the moisture will activate the expansion power of the baking powder. So we don't want that to work until we're ready for it. So we're going to mix this up, and you can mix it up with a wire whip, whatever you want. All right, so we got all the dry ingredients mixed. Now we're going to add the oatmeal. And this is just plain old, ordinary, garden variety oatmeal. Now we're going to add our apples. Now, we're using good Gala apples. The recipe that's going to be posted is going to say Golden Delicious, but you can use pretty much any apple. And you can either peel it or not peel it. That's up to you. I'm not peeling these apples. Right. If you don't peel them, make sure you wash them really good. Unless you grew it yourself, and then you know what's on it. So we're going to toss these around. We're making sure that the apple bits are coated with the flour and with the dry ingredient before we add the wet, so that they'll stay in the solution. They won't all fall to the bottom or move around. All right. Now we're going to take some butter. All right. And we're going to put this in here. All right. Now this is the biscuit method, so we want nice cold butter. All right. And we're going to rub it between our hands. So that all the flour gets a chance to get some butter mixed into it. Now you can do this in the processor by pulsing it. In that case, you'd want to make sure you didn't put the apples in until after you got the butter mixed. All right. And we're going to add our milk. And we're going to add buttermilk because it's got a real high acid content, and the acid content will help activate the baking powder and the baking soda. All right, so we're going to add some of that. We want this to be a little bit moister than perhaps you remember your grandma's biscuits. I'm just going to mix this around good. It's almost like the texture of a drop biscuit, if you know what that is. I can even smell the acid here, but immediately, as soon as I start putting that in, the baking powder starts to react. And this is double acting, which means it's not only going to act, they're going to rise with the moisture, but it's going to rise with the heat as well. Now I've got a pan over here, ready to go with this. Squeeze this off. I'm going to take this glove off. And I'm going to spray this pan a little bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom. All right. And now this is coming out. And I'm just going to push this down. Make nice round, kind of like cake out of it. Now I'm going to cut this into wedges. You can use a knife on this or any kind of straight edge. I'm using what's called a dough cutter or a bench scraper. And now I'm going to put this into the oven. And we're going to bake it at 425 degrees for about 12 minutes. And it's going to come out golden brown and delicious. And as soon as this is done, we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and we've got this finished scone, or these finished scones here. When I was mixing that, I put the apples in and then the butter. You might find it easier to work with the butter first and then the apples. What you really want to do is make sure that the flour is coated with the butter and the butter's mixed in really well. And it'll work either way. This is a very flexible recipe. All right, so we've got it finished, and now we're going to break these apart. All right. And get them onto this plate. Ooh, they're nice and warm. A couple of these on the plate. Now we're going to enjoy these. You can enjoy them any way you want. There's a reasonable amount of fat and some moisture in here already, so we're not going to add any more butter to these. But I am going to take a little bit of honey and some apricot. I'm going to add apricot right into the center here. Right. Just plain old apricot jam. Right. And I'm going to take some, this honey is rosemary and lavender honey. And I'm going to just drizzle that. And there we go. Another little touch of Virginia heaven from Virginia Grown. Once again, we've proved that it's okay to play with your food. Not just okay, but preferable, as long as the food is Virginia grown. So we'll see you next time on Chef Maxwell's Kitchen here at the Farm Bureau. For more delicious recipes using Virginia grown fruits and vegetables, contact Lisa Lloyd at the Virginia Department of Agriculture, 1100 Bank Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23219.
Chef Maxwell's recipes are listed on the Virginia Farm Bureau website. That's VAFB.com.